Weird, doesn't it?
Good evening. I'd like to call this regular Piqua City Commission meeting Tuesday, October 20th, 2020 to order. I'd like to begin by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A lot of nice faces out in the audience. It's good to see. Can the clerk do the roll call?
Absolutely.
Commissioner Hines,
Here?
Commissioner Grissom,
Here.
Mayor Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Pearson, Commissioner Fote.
Here.
All right. Next order of business is a proclamation for National Down Syndrome Month. October is National, we'll proclaim it as National Down Syndrome Month. Whereas on January 1st, 2001, the Piqua Community Foundation hired, oops, that's the wrong one, sorry. Here it is. Whereas approximately 1 in every 700 babies are born with Down syndrome, which represents 6,000 births per year, and whereas those living with Down syndrome are treasured members of our society, and they are sources of inspiration to many family members and to the community in which they live. And whereas it is incumbent upon us as a local community and a nation to continue to empower those with Down syndrome to reach their full potential. Whereas we encourage all citizens to support opportunities for people with disabilities that include full access to education, housing, employment, and recreational activities. And whereas the most effective way to increase this awareness is through everyone's active participation in the community activities and the openness to learn and acknowledge each individual's contribution. As those with Down syndrome enrich the soul of our community with their joy and their love. Now therefore, I, Chris Lee, Mayor of the City of Piqua, do hereby proclaim the month of October as National Down Syndrome Month in the City of Piqua. All right. Also have a proclamation for Karen Wendelin, and it says, whereas on January 1st, 2001, the Piqua Community Foundation hired and named their first executive director, with that being Karen Wendelin. And whereas Karen had a background in education and was the previous director of Meals on Wheels, and volunteered for many organizations, which was what made her the perfect candidate to lead the Piqua Community Foundation. And whereas with Karen's leadership, she took the foundation from its infancy to a very robust community foundation. And whereas Karen's dedication to the organization and creative vision guided the growth of the Piqua Community Foundation. And whereas Karen was instrumental in assisting local organizations in writing grant applications and helping others with submitting information in order to receive grants from the foundation. And whereas board members of the Piqua Community Foundation found Karen to be a great communicator, a great spokesperson, and extremely passionate about her work. And whereas after nearly 20 years with the Piqua Community Foundation, Karen has retired, and we wish her much enjoyment in her well-deserved retirement. Now, therefore, I, Chris Lee, Mayor of the City of Piqua, do hereby thank and congratulate Karen Wendelin, and do hereby proclaim her well on her retirement. Okay. Next, we will have a presentation from Freight Farms with Britt Decker and Laura Jackson. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks
Good
for
evening.
inviting us tonight. We're really excited. Last year we started talking with Chris about something we wanted to bring to the city. It's a shipping container that's turned into a hydroponic grow area.
Nice.
We are focusing on lettuces, specialty greens. Some of the really great benefits of kind of growing this way is we use all non-GMO seeds. It's completely free of
Thank you.
herbicides and pesticides. No bird has ever flown over it or animal jumped over it, and so it literally is a no-wash product. You can take, we brought samples for everybody tonight, and you're all welcome to try it. We do have a web store online now. You can go to fifthseasonfarm.com, place your orders for pickup or delivery.
Delivery,
So, just to backtrack a little bit, kind of one of the reasons Laura and I wanted to get into this was, one, for a healthier lifestyle for the two of us, and to expand upon our current family agriculture endeavor, something, this will bring more of a year-round product as opposed to, one harvest a year. And when we met up with Chris and met with the city, we opted to put our box down in front of the Zolo building. So if you've wondered what the big container with an F on it is as you go down Main Street.
There you are.
It doesn't really look like a farm, but you'll be shocked that we can grow over 6,000 products in there at a time.
Wow.
It has a seedling station where we can do 3,200 plants, start them at a time. And then they get moved back to the cultivation area where they spend another 5 weeks or so. And then we're ready to harvest.
This red oak leaf looks really good.
We
I'm
brought some
serious.
to share with you today, Chris. So those were some of the
Looking at that.
kinds that we brought today. We brought some Green Star, some Butterhead, we brought some Swiss Chard, and I brought some red oak and some green oak leaf for you, and we're
Nice.
gonna leave samples for everyone.
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm serious.
Well, we're really
Appreciate it.
excited about Chris's vision for that sort of area and the Zolo project. So we're really hoping all that comes to fruition and we can be a big part of it.
To be part of
So,
that.
Wow.
And please visit us at our web store.
Will.
We put that on the bottom so you can visit us, and we're gonna have some pickup tomorrow.
All right.
So is that the only web stores how you have to go on to purchase, and then it say there's pickup as well too, or?
Correct, we have pickup and delivery.
Okay.
Liking the delivery part.
Yep, there you go.
It does fit in perfectly with the vision down there, and I think about in the future of supplying local greens to our restaurants and things like that, and
man.
just
Back
how
up
this
again.
can really expand. So, it's exciting, and I have to say, I've tried the Green Star lettuce, and it's fabulous, so.
All right.
We love
Amazing, yeah.
testimonials.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to the Butterhead, so that's great, thank you.
All righty. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you all
so
very
much.
much
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us. We
Enjoy your
appreciate it.
No. Good luck.
Can we check that out?
All right. Next on our agenda is the Fall Residents Pride Awards. And going down the list here, we have some excellent homes that are good examples of residences in the city of Pickle all throughout. The first home is owned by Logan and Abby Peepels at 919 Lincoln. And it is very well kept and very nice. All those flowers, you gotta love it. The second one is owned by Amy Walker at 600 Cottage Avenue. Well maintained, very well.
Clean.
I'm not showing my house, that's for sure. The third one is with Ron and Debbie Anthony, 117 Riverside Drive. Very good. Love the bricks over there. And I know Ron, he's a good guy. And his wife, awesome. The fourth one is Michael and Angela Yeager at 1621 West High Street. Very nice. And the last belongs to Chuck and Peggy Hoke, 209 South Downing Street. That is amazing. I love that. The retaining wall looks really nice. I like that.
I love all the fall decorations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pumpkins, yes. So I'd like to congratulate all our Fall Residents Pride Award winners and thank them for maintaining and representing Pickle well. All right. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda.
There are two items on the consent agenda tonight. Approval of the minutes from the September 1st, 2020 regular Pickwood City Commission meeting, and the minutes from the September 9th, September 18th, September 24th, and October 5th, 2020 Pickwood City Commission special meeting executive sessions. The second item is a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Tony A. Daniel as a city employee for over 17 years, and Tony is here with us tonight.
All right. Tony, I'm going to come down. Can you come forward, please? Who'd you bring with you?
My husband, Jim.
You brought the old fart with you, okay. Thank you. So this is a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Tony A. Daniel as a city employee. Whereas Tony A. Daniel has retired as clerk cashier in the utility business department with the city of Piqua, and whereas her retirement follows over 17 years of faithful and dedicated service to the city. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of the City of Piqua, didn't bring my glasses, sorry, Miami County, all members elected thereto concurring that in recognition of appreciation of the public service of Tony A. Daniel with the city of Piqua, this commission tenders its unanimous and respectful tribute by this resolution, which shall be a matter, excuse me, of public and permanent record. The resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law.
Thank you, Chris.
Jim, you proud of her? I've known you guys a long time and your kids, so thank you for all your hard work and your dedication to the city, ma'am. You're welcome. Give this back. Next on the agenda is new business.
Let's get the approval of the consent agenda, please.
Oh,
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second?
moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next is new business. And we will start with ordinance number 8-20, a first reading.
An emergency ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Piqua.
This ordinance actually allows us to put into the Code of Ordinances, both on the written and electronic versions. These are the ordinances that you've already approved to be put into the documents. Since they have already been approved and enacted, if you choose to waive the 3 reading rule, I think that would be very appropriate tonight.
Well, can I get a motion to waive the 3 reading rule?
I move that we waive the 3 reading rule on ordinance 8-20 and 9-20.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right, 3 reading rule has been waived. Are there any questions by commission? If not, I will take a motion.
I make a
Approve.
motion, we approve ordinance number 8-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is ordinance number 9-20, a first reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 154 zoning of the Piqua Code of Ordinances and allowing a dispensary use in the B General Business and CBD Central Business zoning districts.
Mr. Smeezing will provide the staff report.
Thank you. This item relates to the medical marijuana legislation that was adopted by the state of Ohio back in 2017. And at the time, there was some discussion about the implications at the local level. And the Planning Commission, City Commission in 2017 agreed that there was a fair amount of uncertainty with regards to how those regulations would work and how that would impact the local community. So at the time, the dispensaries were prohibited along with the other type of facilities. Fast forward to 2020, there's a lot more that's understood about how those regulations are working, the types of standards that are applicable, and what all is included in the regulatory environment from the state level. And so City Commission asked that the item be reconsidered and that the Planning Commission take another look at this. As you all will recall, there was a joint work session in June where representatives from the State of Ohio Pharmacy Board attended and explained the various layers of the regulations at the state level, and really help you all understand how that would safeguard against concerns we might have at the local level. So with that, the item was referred back to the Planning Commission, who on September 8th held a public hearing with reference to the proposed revisions in the zoning code that you have in your packet this evening. There was no one present to speak for or against the item. The exception being the Main Street Piqua Executive Director was there just to make sure that their voice was heard, and that if there were any concerns, she could raise them, but there were no concerns. With a vote of 3-0, 1 abstention, and 1 absent member, the item was passed and referred to City Commission with recommendation that the revisions be adopted. The amendments in the code essentially include 3 items. One is it adds the definition of a dispensary and just directly references the Ohio Revised Code definition. And secondly, it adds a dispensary as a principal permitted use in both the B general business and the CBD central business district zoning areas.
And just to add a little history to back when the legislation was actually adopted, when the state brought this forward, they had no regulations whatsoever. And they said you either opt out or you get whatever comes down in the regulations. That's why many municipalities chose to opt out until regulations were actually enacted. That
Yep.
you could see what it entailed. So that's the history on how it got, how it was left out to begin with.
Well, it wasn't necessarily denied, it was just tabled at the time, right?
No, it was denied. The ordinance was written to deny dispensaries and other growing facilities because there were no regulations. No one knew what it meant at that time.
Commission have any questions?
But for myself, and I'm the one that kind of spurred the new talks of the dispensary here. We did run the polls that went out on Facebook, and understanding that those polls did come with a wide variety of people that weighed in on them. And then with the Planning Commission having their public meeting as well, I guess maybe I want to entertain this, being that we had not a lot of information come back through the Planning Commission. Do we need to carry out the 3-read ruling on this? Is it recommended, or how?
Well, I think this is a pretty big deal, and I think you want to give time for people to weigh in on and go through the 3 readings on it.
Sure.
Just clarifying.
No problem, no problem. I was going to make a statement to that effect, that we do want citizens contacting us. I've had nobody since we had the meeting say anything, but if you have something to say, please contact any of us and ask us about it. Tell us what you think, give us your opinion. I'd appreciate it. And if there's any other statements about this or comments, then this will serve as the first reading for the ordinance. All right. Next on the agenda is resolution number R-111-20.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to submit an application for federal FAST Act funds through the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission.
Ms. Havener will provide the staff report.
Thank you. This legislation would allow for the reconstruction of the intersection of County Road 25A and Looney Road to include the removal of the stoplight and to install a roundabout at this location. I'm sure you're familiar with the MVRPC funding we've received in the past. That's kind of our federal funding pot that allows us to do our capital improvement projects. We did apply for this intersection improvement last year during the funding cycle. We were not successful in receiving those funds, so we would like to reapply again this year to see if we can't get those funds and get that intersection reconstructed. We'd be looking, if we are successful in getting the funds, it would most likely be fiscal year 2025 until those funds would even be available.
Any comments from the commission?
I just have to say that I know this has been on the docket for a long time, and driving through there at all times of the day, especially in the morning with the high school and Edison there, I think I'm thrilled that we're going to get a roundabout. And I think once people have seen how the one out there by the school, the Board of Education is, and really understands how quickly it does move traffic through, I think that's really going to help with that bottleneck. So,
Did we apply for this once before?
Yes, last
Yeah.
year.
yeah, we were denied then. So.
That's what I was going to ask, because I can't believe it's been a year already.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I've heard both positive and negative comments about roundabouts. If you look at it, the backgrounds on them, I mean, they definitely prove to be more efficient and weighing in on the cost. But this is just the application to possibly receive funds. We wouldn't be making a decision on those until potentially 5 years from now.
Correct. This would be the application. The next step, if we're successful, would be hiring the designer to begin. But the actual construction cost would not be expended until roughly 2025.
And that would be if we had the funds available in that time to be able to supplement the grant
Correct.
money, correct? Okay.
We will also be applying for OPWC, Ohio Public Works Commission funds, to help offset some of these costs if we're successful in getting these funds.
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
I know a wise city manager told me that if you build a roundabout, businesses will come, and he was right. That'd be Gary. So, he was very right, so. If there's no other comments, I will take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-111-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is resolution number R-112-20.
A resolution awarding a contract to Kennison Excavating, Inc. for the South Main Street Transmission Main Relocation Project.
Ms. Haven.
So we currently have an existing 12-inch water main. I put the location map in your packet, but it is roughly behind Aesthetic Finishers. It feeds our south end of town. This is located, it's not in a current easement, and Aesthetic Finishers has a project they want to do, which would basically include a 13,000 square foot addition. So this water main needs to be relocated. We had it designed, and bids came in last week. We received 10 bids for the project. I included a copy of the bidders so you could get an idea of the range. The lowest bidder was Kennison Construction, and we've worked with them quite a bit, so they're more than capable of handling this project. I did include a 20% contingency because this area is in, there's a lot of bedrock and it's really shallow, so we're not sure what we're going to get into. But again, you can see how low the prices came in versus our estimate, so we're pretty excited about the competitive bidding climate.
That's quite different than what we budgeted, so that's great.
I like it. Any questions from the commission?
So it was a budgeted item for this year then? It's showing that we budgeted. and-
Correct. It was budgeted in the water department for this year.
Right.
No further questions.
I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-112-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is resolution number R-113-20.
A resolution supporting the fiscal year 2021 United States Environmental Protection Agency Brownfield Assessment Grant Program application.
Mr. Smeezing.
This request is to authorize us to proceed with applying for the funding that was referenced. This is the same pot of money that we were successful in securing about 5 years ago when we were able to do the brownfield environmental studies for a lot of the projects along the riverfront and some of the adjacent areas to downtown. By seeking the US EPA brownfield assessment dollars, we're in a position to be able to help our local industries and/or look at those sites that have obsolete or vacant industrial uses and identify what the environmental concerns might be there so that we can position them for the remediation work to happen. And this is vital whenever you're trying to redevelop these type of sites. You have to clear these due diligence hurdles to have any chance of attracting someone to the site to redevelop them. So that's what this money will allow us to do. The area we're focusing on is the South Piqua Legacy Industrial District, I like to call it, which is kind of down around Clark Avenue and along Main Street as you come into the community. And it would also include the power plant facility, which the city owns. And that portion of the project would be a little bit more planning than environmental due diligence, although it would include environmental. And basically, it would be looking at that property and all the others to understand what the reuse of those sites might look like and how we could position them for redevelopment activity. So this is just the first step in that process to be able to apply for the funds. It is a highly competitive program. It's a national program. But again, we have been successful in the past, and we have a proven track record with the EPA. So we're anxious to take another stab at it. These funds would really be beneficial, in particular in helping to advance the recommendations of the comprehensive plan and the redevelopment opportunities plan, which identify this as a high priority area in terms of things we need to address.
So no matching funds.
It's a no matching funds,
Love it.
exactly. Correct. It is a reimbursement, so we would expend the dollars and then get
Sure.
reimbursed, but that's pretty typical.
That
I'm
makes
sorry, you
sense.
said it again, because that's where I was confused. So we would have to pay initially, and then this would reimburse us for money
Yeah, as
expenditures?
with most grants, you expend the dollars and then they reimburse you,
Okay.
which is
and-
pretty typical for most state and federal grant programs.
So with this, we're waiting to find out, because it mentions down here, recommended announcements, spring of 2021. So we wouldn't move forward with anything until we know.
Correct. We wouldn't know until late spring if we're going to be awarded, and we wouldn't actually receive the funds until sometime in the summer.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be any work or anything. And once we get awarded the money, then there's an actual, a step that has to occur to establish the work plan. And that's part of the US EPA requirements, and that's funded through the award, but you don't do that until you know you're awarded.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from commission? I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution number R-113-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. So next is resolution number R-114-20.
A resolution approving the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant application for program year 2020 and authorizing the city manager to submit the application to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources.
Mr. Smeezing.
So this, too, is, we're seeking a grant through the Land and Water Conservation Fund program. This is available every 2 years, and it's administered through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR. And the resolution before you would allow us to proceed with applying for these dollars. The maximum grant amount that you can receive through the program is $500,000, which is the amount we would be asking for. This program does include a match requirement. So if you were to receive 500, you have a $500,000 match requirement. However, your match can be in-kind services. So for example, this is for the Loch 9 Park project. So for consulting fees or other expenditures that have already occurred, or any other local contributions to the project can be applied towards that $500,000 contribution that's required from the local side. You'll note in the matching funds section there, we highlight that the local share would be $520,478. Of that, we have $280,000 already earmarked by way of a private donation from Upper Valley Medical Center for this project. So that would leave a local balance that we would be responsible for of $240,478. This would help us advance the project. It wouldn't cover the total cost necessary to complete the project, but this is a big portion of it. We're also talking to different foundations from the private sector to look for their support of the project, in addition to looking at a TIF financing model. So as some of the private sector improvements that are interested in redeveloping some of the sites around the riverfront, primarily because of the investment in Loch 9 Park, as they come on board, what we think we should be doing is capturing the increase in valuation and then returning that money into paying for the park improvements or a portion thereof. So that would cover the gap, at least that's the way we've modeled it right now. So some of that is dependent upon being able to get these dollars to really seed the project and make that push. But that's, in a nutshell, what we're asking for this evening. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? So 240,478 is what we have to come up with, and there are mechanisms in which, that you just stated,
Yeah.
that we may be able to cover that.
Yeah, in addition to what I just described, there's also recreational trail program dollars through ODNR, and that's a different funding cycle. So we'll be applying for those. I think that one's in March. And then there's also Miami Conservancy District. We've had communications with them. A portion of this is on their land.
Sure.
And they benefit from the levee enhancements that are going to happen here. They too are agreeable to contributing to the project for a dollar amount that we haven't determined, but I believe it'll be in the 150 range. So those things start to stack up. Before you know it, you've gotten to what you need to do the whole project.
I think that's great, and awesome work with trying to provide that type of funding for an area that, I think is going to bring a lot of nice features to the city, and like you said, encourage businesses to invest in our area as well, too.
We have 3 active projects that are, when they go, they will total $11 million in investment from the private side. But for them to go, they want to know date certain when we're going to be complete with the Lock 9 Park improvements. So
Telling you.
it's a little bit of a chicken and an egg game right now. So they need a commitment from us, and we need a commitment from them. So all these things are important to putting that capital stack together so that you can complete those negotiations, for lack of a better description, so that they have the confidence and willingness then to execute their project
Sure.
and proceed. But the return on investment, as you can easily figure out, is it'll be twofold, if not much, much more than that when it's all said and done.
Well, thank you for all your hard work and Gary's hard work in getting that project to come to fruition. So this would be a big part of that.
Well, and it's the kind of the kingpin for all the other stuff that's happening around it, and just the, I think it'll be exciting to see once we get this finished, what
Yep.
else falls in. Am I remembering correctly that private money is what we got from Premier, is that right?
He said UVMC.
Yeah, Upper Valley Medical Center, Premier Health.
Yeah, so we've already gotten, that's already been,
That
That's more than half.
$280,000 has already been committed.
yep.
Like I say, we're talking with several other foundations who are capable of similar contributions. So we're optimistic that there's a fair amount of contribution that could come from the private sector, which obviously then reduces the total public burden. And this is very much, the type of public amenity space that we're talking about here, this is very much the kind of project that should be a public-private effort. At the end of the day, it's enhancing quality of life and really contributing to the things that employers are looking for when they're trying to recruit people to work at their businesses. These are the kind of amenities and the programming that would happen there. These are the kind of things that they're looking for. So it's an investment on their part.
Well, and the nice thing is we have a great track record already with private investment with the Fort Piqua Plaza, and
Exactly
so
right.
we definitely have buy-in for that, so.
Exactly right. Yep.
So can
Thank
you
you.
do up to 100% in-kind on this? Where the public, like if you have private sector in-kind on that, like we're slated for the 240,000, just to say rough number. Can we do up to 100% in-kind from private organizations for that, or is there a percentage that public would have to cover down on? Do you know? And I was just sitting here chewing on that. Sorry to catch you off guard with that
No,
one.
that's okay. In-kind is, you don't want to get too hung up on that because there's a
Yeah.
cost to anything that we, so,
Yep.
and so in-kind doesn't necessarily fit here, because if you start taking those resources that would be otherwise paving streets or doing the things they would ordinarily be doing, now they're the resources are being shifted.
Yeah.
What makes more sense and what's more relevant here is the expenditures we've already incurred for consulting services or the initial phases of the project. Those can count towards our contribution.
Okay.
That's the good news. Now, that doesn't help pay for any of the remaining costs that still exist. So by deflecting the 240 with expenses you've already incurred, you're not getting any further with completing the project.
Got it.
If that makes sense. So, but yes, to your point, if for some reason we were not able to come up with the 240 match in cash, we could recognize the contributions that we've already made as our local match.
Well, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution number R-114-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, last one is resolution number R-115-20.
A resolution amending the City of Piqua Miami County Hazard Mitigation Plan in conjunction with the Miami County Emergency Management Agency.
Back to Ms. Habner for the staff report.
Thank you. In 2018, we brought before City Commission the approval or the adoption of our hazard mitigation plan. This was in conjunction with the Miami County Emergency Management Agency. Since then, we have applied for funding and have been successful in receiving FEMA funding through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for the High Hazard Potential Dam Project. And this would be for the work we're doing out at the hydraulic and the spillways. And as part of that grant funding through FEMA, they said that we needed to modify our hazard mitigation plan through the county to include specifically how our studies have been incorporated into that plan, and I've attached those to Exhibit A to give you an idea of the 3 studies they're referring to. So this would just basically add these as an amendment to the plan. It would satisfy the grant requirements to allow us to proceed with receiving that funding. And upon approval of this tonight, Miami County EMA will also be approving theirs. The county commissioners would approve this amendment as well, so then this will be attached permanently to our plan.
Any questions from the commission? I'll entertain a motion at that point then.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-115-20.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we are at the public comment, and we received no questions for Zoom, and there's no one in the audience, so there are no public comment. And the city manager has no report. Then I will entertain commissioners' comments, starting with Commissioner Fote.
Just want to say thank you to the residents for keeping up the outstanding jobs that they're doing on the Residents' Prides Awards. I get the pleasure of driving around our great city here, and there are homes that are decked out to the gills with Halloween things going on this year. I think I've seen more this year than what I've seen in the past, and also all the fall decorations that are out there. So it's not just the Residents' Prides awards that are given out. It goes out to every citizen that does a good job in taking care of their homes, dressing them up for the holidays. It brings out the little kid in me whenever I see that sometimes. So great job. Thank you guys very much for that. And that's about all I have for this evening.
Commissioner?
I would like to remind everyone that Shared Harvest Food Bank is going to be at the Upper Valley Career Center on this Saturday, October 24th from 10 to 12 for food distribution. Another reminder that we all need to get out and support our local businesses. We've got a few new ones, and I think it's critical that we make it a point to get out and do our best to
throughout all this.
support them. Especially the 5th Season Farm. That's exciting. I'm glad to see that. And that's all I had.
Commissioner Grissom?
Thanks. I had a question. Halloween I didn't know if anything official had been put out. Is it still confirmed is it next Thursday?
Yeah, the commission actually adopted the recommended date. I think it's the 29th, from 6 to 8. That was recommended, established by the county council. And so that is the date, official date for the city and all other municipalities throughout Miami County. So The governor has put out some guidelines that we've made available on our website that people can see. You can do trick-or-treating. They just are general guidelines of distancing and so forth, of being careful about the type of candy and wiping it down and things like that.
So everybody's doing it on the same night, so you won't have people from other communities coming in.
That's
Makes a lot of
typically why
sense.
the county council does that. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. I had a lot of people ask. I knew we voted on, but it sounded like there could be potential contingencies because things have obviously changed at times. So thanks for confirming that. Thanks. Additionally, I just heard a quote the other day I thought was pretty nice. It says, "Continual improvement is better than delayed perfection." It's Mark Twain. And I know with COVID right now, some things have slowed, and I just like to see that, the city staff's been doing amazing work, just from today's discussion, seeing, we are still making improvements and making progress. So, some people want perfection right away, but progress, you have to make progress. You can't always wait for perfection. So I just want to commend the staff and everything that everybody's been doing throughout the city. Additionally, Fall Pride, I love seeing these things. I love seeing the residents' prides. Like you said, I'm just in the area. It's been beautiful. Fountain Park, I go down and take walks every day. It's been gorgeous. The staff's kept that park up looking immensely. Gary's saying we just paved the basketball courts over there. I know the kids are always out there and enjoying it, so great time to be. And we actually had a pretty good fall last year. Winter came way too fast. And I think that's all I have right now.
All right, thank you.
Stay safe for Halloween.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Commissioner Hines?
I also want to congratulate our resident pride winners. It is wonderful to see that, and it's wonderful to see how that takes on in the whole neighborhood as somebody gets recognized for doing that. So congratulations to all of our winners. I do want to say, in light of Halloween, it's fun again to drive around and see all the different decorations. I love to walk my ward, drive my ward, and get out, and I will say that there is a skeleton in my ward that is probably as high as the bottom of that. I mean, it is huge. So I'm just going to put that out there. People are driving around the Fifth Ward, but I walked by it today. I mean, it's higher than a ranch style house. It's pretty amazing. So exciting. It is fun to see in the midst of COVID and everything else. People are getting out and doing and decorating. So that's exciting. I also want to give a huge shout out to our schools. I went by Piqua Catholic the other day, and the kids were running around playing outside, and I know Piqua City Schools, our schools have really been rock stars during this whole thing, and I just really give a huge thank you to our teachers, our administrators, our staff, our bus drivers, all of those people, our coaches who are giving our children the best experience they can in light of COVID, because it's amazing. Our football team, praise God, our football team has been able to play, and not only have they played, they are winning. They have not lost a game, and they are going to another championship game this Friday, and so it is just really exciting to see, and I just really thank all those who have been working behind the scenes.
I'm thinking 2006 again.
Yes, yeah, it may be. That's right. And our kids are really, it's great to see that they're able to do these things. So, and a big shout out to our football team. Well done, and we're behind you. And we are Piqua, and we're looking forward to another win on Friday night. Also, congratulations to Tony Daniel. She was frontline in our utility office for 17 years, and our utility office many times do not get the thanks that they deserve. That's a hard job, and especially to be behind the desk receiving payments. Sometimes people come in and they're positive, and sometimes people come in and they're not so positive. So I thank Tony and all those clerks that are down in our utilities office and the good work that they do for our city. And the last thing I have to say is vote. It is important. We all have the opportunity to let our voice be heard. And I went down to the courthouse on Monday. It's very easy. The line wasn't that long. And even if you don't want to do that, if you have your absentee ballot, you can take it down and put it in the mailbox right there out front. But I want to encourage everybody out to get out and to exercise your right to vote.
Thank you.
I have.
Thank you very much. I just want to echo what everybody else has said, basically. Thank you to the Residents' Pride Award winners. Thanks to Tony Daniels for her hard work. Many a times when I was at the police department, I'd get dispatched, and Tony'd be sitting there after dealing with being frustrated by a customer, and she kept on and persevered, and 17 years is a long time, and she did a great job, and we appreciate the hard work she's done for the city. I want to thank all the schools and Pickle High School and the football team. I watched that game Friday night. It was very exciting. Like I said, Pickle football reminds me of 2006 season. They're that good, and I'd like to see them continue to win. Be safe on Halloween. I'm looking forward to that. The governor has got some recommendations, and please follow them. Just be safe. Wipe off the candy. Socially distance as well as you can. And parents are good judges of where they should take their kids, and it's their choice. So. One final thing I would like to say, to echo Commissioner Hines, is that, November 3rd is the election, and I don't care who you vote for. It's not my place to tell you who to vote for, but it is my place to recommend that you do vote. If you are voting age and can vote, get out. The one true constitutional right that you have is to elect people to represent you. Take advantage of it. One vote does make a difference, and I'd like to see everybody take advantage of that, because every vote counts. So with that said, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.